Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And live and direct with Jonathan and Tim. I've had to zoom out now because the map's getting bigger. Where should we start? Jonathan, you're cracking into East African Federation, and there was a big incident overnight with Oman, but we'll go over to you first, Jonathan. What's been going on?
Yeah, so at the end of the last episode, we briefly saw that I killed some of Ethiopia's troops. I tried to negotiate a surrender, but it didn't really go to plan, and it massively escalated. And what he's done overnight is he's got his coalition member, East African Federation, to prepare an assault against me. Essentially, what he did was build a couple of pontoons down this main river that runs through. So if you have look south of Khartoum, south of Malakal, he built it there. So I decided to rush in and invade him. I picked up this one province, Mankian, which is southwest of Malakal, where I could defensively hold. But he didn't have many troops there, so I've pushed through, and I'm going to take this domed complex that he has, which is one of his home cities. So for now, he's not going to be able to push back too much. As for Ethiopia, he's just sent one troop up to capture some of my home provinces in this little peninsula south of some of my home cities, but separated from them. I was planning on maybe moving some troops into Ethiopia from there. I think that's going to be a no-go for now. It's a bit of a problem because I can't aggressively take Ethiopia because of all of this water. I've got a few options. I could go all the way around south, through like Mabea and the East African Federation, and then work my way up there. I could try and build like an airstrip in a northern province if I could retake it, or I could risk trying to move across the river to Malakal, and I think that's what I'm going to go for, with just a lot of troops, and hope that combined they don't have a lot of troops waiting there, but it could be very risky, so I'm going to bide my time for a bit.
Yeah, can you use his pontoon? Because it looks like they put it in a good place. Just one thing, actually, Jonathan. While you were talking initially, Tim had sent his plane, as you might know, and he's left that troop in Ethiopia on 0.1 health, equaling the record. Well done, Tim. It's a good record to get. So he's nearly dead, but so is your
Very
plane.
well.
It's got 4.8 health, but the planes have been amazing, haven't they? They've really been a help.
Yeah, they're always so essential for scouting as well as attacking troops.
We've been seeing what's out there. So you're at war with Ethiopia, East African Federation. They're an alliance, and that's a lot to take on. But you're already taking the advantage or the initiative and taking a home city, and that's going to cripple them.
And also, I hired a mercenary. So Cameroon was talking to us, asking if he could help, and I couldn't think of anything before because I wasn't having any trouble taking Sudan. It's all gone now, apart from that one city. But what I've said to him is look, East African Federation's bringing some troops up to attack me. Now would be a good time to take his home cities.
Okay.
And if he does that, it would be fantastic because I could focus on Ethiopia, and he would also be putting himself in between me and Mozambique, which seems to be the most powerful member of the coalition, just south of the East African Federation. So have a look out to see what he does.
And actually, South Africa has blitzed up, haven't they? Oh, they haven't taken any cities. Okay. They look more powerful than they were. So Mozambique. So they're pushing north, yeah. Okay, so you've got a lot going on in Africa. Give us a yell if you think it's getting a bit out of control. I've got some good news. We'll tell you what's happened with Oman. There was an epic fight overnight, and we're doing lots in Syria as well. But if I just give you a development update, I'm now building my third naval base. Sorry, naval base level 3 in Adana, which is my south city near the sort of the corner of the sea where there's Aleppo, and anyway the viewers can see that. And then if we have a look at the research, I'm 6 hours away from researching the destroyer, and then 1 day, 2 hours away from naval base level 3, and then I can build a destroyer. And I should have enough materials by then. It's 2,500 cogs, which I'm quite short on. So I'll save up, but I can make 3,800 a day. That city that you're about to crack into has got an arms industry level 2 on it, and so he's invested an awful lot of resources into that city. I don't think you destroy the buildings when you take over a domed city, do you? So are you going to keep those resources or destroy them?
Ooh. I'm really not sure what happens because I believe when it protects it from attack, it's like if you're still holding the city, and say if you get hit by a missile, your buildings will be protected. But I'm not sure what happens when you take it. I know for a fact that when you take a city, it destroys all the arms industries, just so you can't go in and get a load of resources straight off the bat. But quite often, you can have the remaining army base or recruiting office, but it will be on it will take off half of the health usually. And it usually depends how much fighting goes on in the city as to what health the buildings come out of it.
Well, we'll be able to see soon, because I'm about to attack a domed city in about 13 minutes, but it's only got an army base, so we'll see what happens there. But how long is it till you attack that one?
Probably only about 20 minutes.
So we might find out in this episode either way. Right. Tim, did you see what happened overnight? Or no, I don't think you did. Did you?
No, I just missed it. So for about 2 or 3 hours last night, I was kind of like playing chicken with Oman. So he was moving south, taking these provinces, and then I was just sort of sneaking in behind him and taking them back. And then he started sort of like turning back on me when I'd move into the province, and then I'd turn back and he'd turn around again, start moving south again, and it sort of went on like that for a while. And at that point, your infantry officer was pretty close to the centre of Lina, so I ended up just he was moving south out of Lina, so I just sent a couple of infantry to the middle just to take it, but those did actually die. But yeah, I just had to leave it. But I mean, it looks like your officer took care of the stack quite comfortably.
Yeah. So it looks like, so basically from what we agreed, you were going to put a stack on Al Shabaka, and I was going to put my infantry officer down here in Lina, so that we'd control these two provinces and he wouldn't get past us. And it seems that while I was in Lina with my elite infantry officer and only 3 other infantry back then, he cracked into me. But the defensive stat on my officer, it's 9.3 defense against troops, 6.7 against the hard targets, the armour, and he had 6 infantry and a combat recon, and I lost 1 infantry, and I lost a little bit of quite a lot of health off my officer, and a little bit off the rest of my infantry, and I've since added to the stack. And after that happened, I went all the way back and down to here, took that city, and then I've continued down here. And along the way, I added another couple of troops, and my elite infantry officer with a couple of other units in his gang are now going to take this this city from Saudi Arabia, the domed city. These guys are just going to be landing on that city in time for it turning midnight. I've been timing my taking of cities with midnight, because so long as it's like Cinderella, if you're on the city by midnight, let it tick over and it hasn't been taken by rogue state, then you're fine and you've made it in time. There is a rogue state down here, rogue city down in the south near Oman.
Oh yeah.
But Oman has basically lost a big stack, 6 troops, 1 combat recon, which is going to hurt. They've taken a lot of land up here in your east, would you say? Northeast?
Yeah. He's taken a pretty big chunk of Iran today. Yeah. So I mean, along with the troops that you've killed last night, and then he's, you can probably assume he's got quite a few in Iran. He might not have much defending his home cities, if anything. So
yeah, I think you're in a prime position to just go and take Hala. See how he reacts to that.
Are you gonna crack into that home city, Tim? Because you're quite near. I know you're tempted towards Sharuya.
Yeah, I think I'm going to clear that out with this big stack and then move them on somewhere else. That might be Hela. I'm not sure yet.
It might be worth cracking into Hela when you've got a bit more time. Like maybe not just send them on blind orders through the night, but see.
Yeah, I might just do it in the morning.
But I'm cracking
Saudi's
down.
just like out of the game now, pretty much, isn't he?
Yeah. He's had a few wandering troops, but pretty much taken care of all now.
Yeah, there's one up here, wasn't there, in the mountains? We all sent an aircraft each and took him out. Got my Sheridan tank coming down, so he'll be there by morning on the front line in Saudi, and then when he joins my elite unit with all the other people, that'll be a really powerful stack. So that'll be nice to have. And then I'll have pretty much 4 troops on this city that I've taken. It's called Tabuk, the Saudi city, where I've got all my troops going to. When it ticks over midnight, I'm going to send a couple down to the Medina complex to take these mountain cities overnight. And just leave a couple on there, a couple more joining the elite stack. We're going to have a big front line, really powerful. There won't be much stopping me coming through, Tim. We can pretty much ignore Yemen, I think, and then just go for Oman, home cities.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Saudi and Yemen kind of tore into each other a little bit, so we could just clean that up later after we've eliminated Oman. I'm a little bit wary. Oman does have an airbase level 2, so we could be producing strikes. Is the only thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't got any anti-air yet.
He'll only have been able to. Well, we've got our planes, haven't we? They're anti-air. They're a plane-to-plane interceptor. Where's his level 2 airfield? Oh yeah,
Muscat.
And he's got a couple of level 2 army bases where he could be producing tanks, but I did have a bit of a revelation. I counted his home cities, and guess how many I added up?
What's that, home cities?
Yeah.
Did you say? He's only got 5, hasn't he?
He's only got 5, and we've all started with 7, and I only just realised that today, because I thought, hang on. So actually, he's short of resources. We've all got pretty much an extra. Well, I've got an extra supplies and component city on him, so he'll have more like 70 to 90 production an hour instead of like I've got 150 odd now for supplies and components. So
very slow start.
Yeah, or whatever he's produced already is that's it, and then he's going to slow right down. He hasn't really taken any other cities apart from a couple. Not going to give him a huge amount of resources. So we've definitely got an advantage there. I'm not as worried as I was, but then I have become more and more worried when looking at Ukraine. They're certainly expanding, and so is that whole coalition, Poland and France. They're probably our biggest danger. And if we have a look on the coalition list, look at the score. Are they in 3rd place? Yeah, they're in 3rd place, but only because they don't have any victory points. If they had victory points, they would be in 1st place. So they...
Yeah.
Although, do they? Because Poland has got what looks like a victory site. Maybe they just took that today, and when it ticks over at midnight, they're going to be the coalition leaders. Okay. That's what's going to happen. Right, well, let's crack into Saudi and then go into Oman. Are you quite confident about defending your eastern flank?
I think so. I'm confident enough to sort of abandon my cities now. I've got a 2nd Corvette on the way that's going to sort of hug my coastline. I've got 6 units over that side, and I'll have a couple of airborne over there as well that can quickly hop into a city to defend it if needs be.
Yeah.
So not too worried about that. Most of the troops are in Saudi. I think just take his home cities. He might just sort of counterattack me out of spite
I think
with
so.
with his troops in Iran. But
When you get your second Corvette, what's to stop you using a Corvette to just harass Oman?
yeah, I probably will just do that. Just chip away at Muscat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after you're there, if you don't really need it, you could move it around to Ethiopia and harass him too, if you wanted. It would
Oh
help
yeah,
me a lot.
definitely, 100%. I will. Well, he
Yeah,
declared war on me, so so he's asking for it.
Oh.
And
yeah, we're going to be in there like swimwear.
On it like a car bonnet.
Mm.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, we can certainly give you a hand with Ethiopia once we've cracked into Saudi a bit, and especially once I get my destroyer, because there won't be a huge amount else for me to do. I think we'll be all right taking Oman by land.
yeah,
We'll see. But the only city on the coast is Djibouti in Ethiopia. Otherwise, he's pretty safe.
Again, he's only got the 5 home cities, and I started with
Oh, yeah.
6.
You had 6, and that's why you had fewer components than me and Tim. So looks like me and Tim have started with 7. You've started with 6, but then there are some with 5, but plenty out there with 7. So that's something to note when you pick your cities. Ukraine are pretty powerful, but their capital city is right on a riverway. So hopefully I can build up my navy and just crack their home city open. But look, they're building an arms industry level 2 already on their capital, and they're trying to collect supplies. So they've put an arms industry on an occupied city that they've taken over. Either that or they repaired it already. I don't know. And it does look like they're going for the supply cities, the Ukraine. I've got underground bunkers in Istanbul. You know, my city closest to Europe. Built them now, and I've got a big stack. So 5 troops and 1 combat recon. That's a pretty defensive position. Fairly happy with that. Over here, whereas Transcaucasia, there are 2 Russian provinces, and I'm just debating whether or not I take those, because it means I have to go to war with Russia, and it's not really a war that I'd be prepared to finish, because their last territory is all the way over here in Serbia. I'd just be travelling for days and days to get there. So I might leave that Russian territory. I guess my other options for going into Europe would be starting with Greece. So I'll have to see about that.
Don't forget about Crimea.
Crimea, middle for diddle. In the middle of the what we would know as the Med, I guess, or the Black Sea. Black Sea, probably.
yeah.
Black Sea, yeah.
Yeah, Crimea I'm less interested in holding, because it might just be a bit of a hassle and a bit of a sinkhole for troops. I mean, what are they going to do once they're there?
Well, me or Tim can take it with our airborne. You don't have to worry about that. And then whilst you're attacking from whatever front, it could be a little forward operating base. Once we've taken it, build an airfield there, we can fly an airborne, or we could have some strike fighters by then, and it will just be a constant threat for Ukraine. And he'll have no way to access it other than his own airborne or naval troops.
Okay. Yeah, so
it's going to be essential, I think.
We're starting to get in the mindset that we'll probably need to do a coalition attack on Europe, really. Yeah, it's going to be tough, and I'll have plenty of boats by then, hopefully. I mean, they're expensive, and we've got limited resources, but they're increasing, and I'll have destroyers before long, and then hopefully... Oh, Medina Complex has been captured. There we go.
Nice.
And the barracks are intact. Okay, so it's going to take 24 hours for that dome to replenish.
One thing I've started doing quite recently, I didn't clock onto it for a while, But when you take a city, you can demolish the buildings that you don't want. Give yourself a little bit of a resource boost.
Oh,
Um, I only started doing it like a couple of weeks ago. My last game.
I didn't realise it gave you a resource boost.
Yeah, you can salvage. It's not much, but
Oh yeah,
it's a little bit.
yeah. So
Thanks for reminding me.
75 supplies, 50 cogs, 100 fuel, 37.5 electronics, $350 for a level 2 army base. Yeah, I mean, if you know you're never going to use it, why not?
And there's nothing more satisfying than taking somebody's home cities and going, oh, I'm going to get rid of that, demolish that. Yeah, bye to that level 5 recruiting office.
I'm going to do it. I just
Great
demolished. Oh, it demolishes level by level.
Yeah. So you get a little bit for each tier. It's pretty good if they've got a high level building on there.
Yeah,
and it's not insignificant,
Yeah, it adds up actually. Yeah.
On day 4, it definitely adds up.
Oh, there's a level 3 army base here, incomplete. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Because I mean, God, it's a lot of turns into a game before you even consider trying to annex a city.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh yeah, that'll do. Oh, I'm just going to demolish everything now. Underground bunkers, airbase, I'll keep those.
Yeah, I tend to keep like air bases and sometimes hospitals.
Army base I'll get rid of. Yeah, airbase and hospitals I'll keep. Harbour. I've got loads of harbours. I don't need that. Oh, we can't delete it though. I think anything the city automatically starts off with, you can't demolish. Oh, like a harbour is a bit of a fundamental part of a coastal city. Oh, good tip, Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, resources are so squeezed. We're desperate for anything. I mean, look, we've got barely anything coming in. And you've got to really prioritise what you can build. Oh, I'll show you what I have been building. I've got 3 level 2 arms industries being built. I've already built 3 level 2 arms industries. Arms industries. So by the time everything's built, only one of my cities will be without a level 2 arms industry. An arms industry just boosts your resource production. So then I can start going on to level 3. So that's getting there. And then I've got 2 underground bunkers. This is home cities. And then like 1 level 3 naval base being built. And I've got a level 2 army base. And I've started the production of another tank. So 13 hours away from that. What's the score with you guys? What you're building?
I built a load of bunkers on my home cities, and I've sat at least 1 troop on all of my home cities because I was anticipating an invasion. Whilst I haven't got any ships, I'm concerned that Ethiopia is just going to rock up a bunch of troops or a ship and try and take me out. Yeah. And then apart from that, I've just researched corvettes, so I'm going to be building a level 2 harbour in one of my home cities. And then, just maybe some more bunkers at some point to just try and get the morale up to help with my resource production. Yeah. Building the odd troop, a few combat recons, and currently a Ford Airborne right now, so I've just got the 1.
Okay, very nice. Tim, what are you up to?
Not so much at the moment. I'm currently saving up for my infantry officer because I researched it on day 1, but I've never sort of managed to. Yeah, I've not managed to build him yet. So
yeah, he's a big commitment, isn't he? We switch positions. I normally don't bother, and you guys are normally like hardcore on it. And it's kind of me and Jonathan have done it this time, and you've been caught out maybe with the resources, not having as many resources as you do in like the more vanilla game. This is a bit more of a specialist map, isn't it? And conditions, you get a lot fewer resources. It's almost like a hardcore version of the normal game. It's a bit more difficult, bit more
Definitely.
easy.
I mean-
Especially on the cash front, you've got no land to generate resource.
Exactly, yeah.
You've just flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you usually able to buy a lot more of the initial buy offers on the market, but so few provinces just means a lot less cash coming in. It's taking a while for everything to build up.
Yeah. Well, it's going well so far. I was a bit worried, to begin with, especially when Oman kept sending that big stack to us, seemingly fearless, and then getting a bit paranoid that he had a load of corvettes being built. But I think we're cool. I think you building your corvettes is really key to him. I think that's really important. I'll be happy once I've got a destroyer, because we're living in Waterworld. And Jonathan as well with your corvettes. I mean, all of your cities are right on the coast, aren't they? Really exposed.
Yeah, I need to get it going as soon as possible.
Okay.
The thing is about you is you can sort of protect like multiple cities just by blocking off one or two waterways. So
Yeah.
well,
Well,
got a few
if
boats,
he's
it should be good.
making a move, then he's being slow about it, or maybe he was just bluffing when he was talking all the talk last night. Either way, I'm just buying myself time whilst I'm being aggressive and maybe diverting his attention from my home cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult fight. Looks like Ethiopia's in it to win it. So building a level 2 arms industry on Kassala. Level 1 army base? Got a level 1 army. It's got arms industries. Level 2 arms industry on Addis Ababa. Yeah, when people are playing, when they've got arms industries on all their home cities. There we go, level 2 on Djibouti as well.
I think Kassala was taken from Sudan. And so... Oh, no, wait, he is just building the arms industry from scratch, isn't he? So it's an interesting choice.
Oh, Kassala on the occupied city. It must have been in the process of being built, or maybe just building it from scratch. But it's the second player that I've seen really trying to focus on supplies, really desperate for supplies. So they'll be building corvettes and troops that sucks all these supplies in. And that's one reason why I'm going for a
that's
destroyer.
interesting, because I had a look on his profile, and he's lost and killed the most with just basic troops. It gives you a breakdown of like how many planes somebody's built and lost, tanks, so on and so forth. So if he is either really trying to push for a lot of supplies to gain troops, or he's really been struggling after building a lot of them. So it's good news, and it's a great observation that he is building a level 2 arms industry on there, because he may be struggling to get what he wants.
He's going for supplies. He's not focusing on components, and components gets you tanks, it gets you ships. But supplies gets you corvettes, and it gets you infantry. Corvettes are 1,500 supplies, and maybe that's what he's seen. He's researched corvettes, and then he's thought, oh god, I've run out of supplies. Quick, build arms industries on everything that has supplies, and then he's going to get like 2 or 3, 1 or 2 corvettes maybe. And in the meantime, you're getting your corvettes out because you've got 2 supply cities, so that's good. And then destroyers is what I'm building, and their components. So 2,500 components, which is huge. But I'll be saving up. It does make you think to target cities that have good infrastructure, doesn't it? Well, the good thing is I'll be cracking into, whoever makes it there first, Tim, down the coast of Saudi. They've got a couple of level 3 naval bases that I can take apart.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice of him to get those ready for you.
Very
Keep
kind.
them warm.
Very kind. And Oman has been building all sorts. He's even getting a hospital ready for us in his capital city.
He's got a second level 2 airbase building now. I feel like it's a little bit early to need 2 air bases level 2. They're quite expensive.
Yeah, what are you going to do with that? So, build planes, and you don't have the resources, do you?
No, I really don't think he's going to have much of an army when we do get there.
And he's
'Cause-
built 2 level 2 barracks. So he's wasted resources having 2 higher level military buildings he doesn't even need.
There's just no way he's got enough resources to be able to actually build multiple tanks at once, multiple planes at once.
Unless he's a
It's
gold
just
player.
impossible.
Unless he's
Unless
a
he's a
gold
gold
player.
player.
Hence why he's got
He put
such
all
a
his money-
strong win record.
I'll have to see.
But we can take on gold
He-
players in this game, can't we?
We can.
Hmm.
Well, when it hits midnight, I'm going to move some people on. Actually, do you know what? When it hits midnight, you see the Medina complex I've just taken over in Saudi with my elite officer. When it hits midnight, I can move him on to Mecca and take Mecca by the morning. And in the meantime, move a couple of troops on into the Medina complex because I've got the time. Because it's only when the time ticks over at midnight to the rogue state have a look at what's going on, the Chosen. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just that one point in time where you just need to make sure you got troops on a city and then you can move on with your life. It's like musical cities. When the music stops, make sure you're sat down. All right, well, it's been a great episode, and any last thoughts, guys?
No, I don't think so. I think I've not got a lot going on right now.
I was just thinking how nice it is to not have to sit all your troops on your provinces for fear of losing them to a random country.
Yeah, I know. Well, on that note, it's goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
Bye for me.
Over and out.